Good evening. For those that don't know me, my name is Emmanuel Giuffre and I'm the legal counsel at Voiceless. I don't need to tell you that animals suffer immensely at the hands of humans. The suffering occurs in the course of providing our food, clothes, cosmetics and entertainment, in the course of furthering our scientific knowledge or curiosity, and in preserving our religious and cultural norms. Animal exploitation is ingrained in our society, and the law is a reflection of society, and in such a way as it facilitates and actively perpetuates that exploitation. Under the law, animals are considered property. Now, many of you would have probably heard me speaking about that before, but I really want us to think about it tonight. Animals are living, breathing, sentient beings. They think, they feel pleasure and pain, and most importantly, they have the capacity to suffer. And yet our laws classify them to the status of a table or chair. They are the property of humans. And as property, their human owners can buy, sell, transport, or dispose of them at their will. Now, of course, we have laws that prevent cruelty to animals, but only to the extent that such cruelty can't be justified as being reasonable, necessary, or justified to achieve human ends. The law has created this artificial balancing act. We acknowledge cruelty to animals is bad, but at the same time we retain their property status so that we can continue to benefit from their use. That's why humans are capable and can, under the law, confine egg-laying hens in battery cages, or they can continue confining sows, pregnant pigs in sow stalls. It's why we can constantly and artificially impregnate mother cows for their milk, but not before we strip them of their calves and kill their calves within only a couple of days of their birth. And it's the reason that we can shoot kangaroos in the largest land-based slaughter of an animal on the planet, and also bludgeon their young, joeys. Human interests, mostly and notably our taste buds, trump even the most basic interests of animals. Dickens wrote that the law is an ass. But if asses could talk, I can probably guarantee they'd resent that association. The law is failing animals, it is clear, and this is why Voiceless focuses on law reform, as it is essential to bringing about an end to animal suffering. Now, behind the scenes, we work very closely with our friends in Parliament, many of whom are here with us this evening, and thank you for attending, and thank you for your support throughout the year. We work with them to change the law, to reduce the suffering of animals, and to seek legal change that creates meaningful advancements to their life. Our organisation has also, as Ondine mentioned, we've worked tirelessly to build animal law in this country. Whether it's through getting more universities to teach animal law, or funding academic textbooks or journal articles, or helping to establish organisations that focus specifically on animal law. And I'm very pleased to say that the number of organisations that are specialising in animal law are growing, which is just fantastic. Now, I really wanted to speak with you today on our latest initiative in terms of building animal law, and that is the second edition of the Animal Law Toolkit. Now, the first edition of the toolkit was published some 6 years ago by my predecessor, Katrina Sharman, and it introduced lawyers and the broader community to the very novel area of animal law. Since its release, animal law has flourished. It's now seen in all of the major universities across Australia, and we have something like 2,500 students graduating law schools going through animal law courses, which is fantastic. Now, the toolkit summarises not only the law, but also the ethical and moral concerns with their use and exploitation in a variety of commercial contexts, whether it's the commercial hunting of whales or the keeping of companion animals in puppy farms, the killing of animals for their leather or fur, or the use of animals in scientific research. At times, the toolkit is difficult to read. It was certainly difficult to write, but I think you would all agree that it's necessary read. We hope that as discussion about the suffering of animals continues, this toolkit will be in the hands of intelligent, critical thinking and compassionate individuals like yourselves, and will be used as a starting point for individuals who want to work in this area in providing animals with justice. Now, you've all been given a copy of the toolkit. It's all there on your seat. But please also share it widely amongst your community. It's really accessible and it really is open, not only to lawyers, but also members of the general public. I'm also very pleased to launch another major initiative, this time from the University of Technology Sydney's Faculty of Law, and in particular, Professor Sophie, actually not a professor, she corrected me this evening, Sophie Riley, who's a lecturer at UTS. The Animal Law Casebook was a project, here it is, made possible by a Voiceless grant last year, and is a compilation of animal law cases, summaries provided by UTS students. Remarkably, this is Australia's first animal law casebook and comprises a summary of the most important and influential animal law cases both in Australia and nationally, a resource that will serve as an invaluable learning and practical tool for students and also for practicing lawyers. So it's a fantastic initiative. Voice is very proud to support and endorse the Animal Law Casebook, and you can all obtain a copy tonight. We've downloaded the casebook on USB, and it's available for you to take home from that little bowl up the front where all the trophies are. Now, that's enough from me. I'm sure Elaine is sitting there thinking, shut up, Manny, you're already over your time. But I would first like to hand over the stage to our next speaker. Dr. Dror Ben-Ami is a Voiceless director. You would maybe all of you know him as Ondine's husband. He is a tireless campaigner of kangaroos, and he's also a tireless campaigner of animal rights. He's the founder of Think, the think tank for kangaroos, and he's also the co-founder of the Centre for Compassionate Conservation at UTS. He's also the co-founder, he's a very busy person, the co-founder of the Million Hands Movement for Peace in Israel, where he has lived with Ondine and their family for the last few years. To talk about his latest project in lobbying for an end of the commercial kangaroo trade in both China and Russia, a project which again was also made possible by a Voiceless grant last year, please join me in welcoming to the stage Dr. Dror Ben-Ami.